He did management, he organized armies, he taxed the citizens, he built buildings, he built roads, he did everything as a king. First class, everyone was satisfied. But that inspiration and that wisdom of the Brahman was very much the basis, because it was completely in line with what he heard from Narada Muni. Little Prahlad, he was thrown from a huge mountain. If you go to those mountains that Prahlad was thrown off of, they're massive mountains, they're cliffs. You just look down and you go, He was actually thrown, falling. But he was not afraid. He was not even disturbed, because he was completely depending on Krishna. Doesn't matter, live or die. That has to happen anyway. Whether I die like this or whether I die of old age, I'm going to die. So what difference does it make how I die? What matters is, am I taking shelter of the Lord? That's all that matters. He was happier falling from a mountain, 10,000 feet in the air, falling down. He was happier than we are sitting in our nice little chair watching the cricket game on television. Really, even if India wins. He was happier because he was completely taking shelter of Krishna. He was thrown by his father in fire. He didn't have an asbestos fireproof suit on or anything. He had no plan or arrangement to protect himself. He just sat in the fire. Krishna, I'm yours. Whatever you like. So he ruled the kingdom with this mood of total shelter of Krishna, depending on Krishna. And this avatuta he met in the jungle, he was living naked without seeing anything or anyone, just as an avatuta, depending on Krishna. So in whatever stage of life, we should understand the quality of our happiness and the longevity of our happiness is dependent on not circumstances, not things, not destiny. It's all depending on how we're depending on Krishna and how we're taking shelter of Krishna. Because Krishna, as we take shelter of him, Krishna reveals himself to us. And therefore Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. The greatest benediction in all of creation is that Krishna has come in the most simple, accessible way to give us shelter. In chanting his holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. And even knowing that we can expect the unexpected, Abhaya Charanarabindare. When we take shelter of Krishna, we become fearless. We become happy. Because they know when we have Krishna, like little Prahlad, Krishna's always there for us. And when the soul unites with Krishna through bhakti, through devotion, there is no power in this world that could ever separate that. And that's where real pleasure is. Krishna is the connoisseur of all transcendental pleasures. And Krishna wants to share that with all of us. And by learning how to love and to serve and to respect his devotees, and to learn to serve without selfish motivations, without political ambitions. Gopi Bhartur Padakamaliyora Das Das Anudas. To learn to relate to each other, all of us, as servant of the servant of the servant. And chant the holy names with sincerity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us that is the process of taking shelter of Krishna. If we are not the servant of the servant of the servant, if we're not aspiring Trinadapi Sunichena, to be humble servants of the Lord, and we don't honor and serve Vaishnavas in that spirit, and we're not trying to be kind, to give blessings to all living beings, then taking shelter of Krishna is just a theoretical exercise without substance. Because taking shelter of Krishna means doing what Krishna wants. It doesn't mean when danger comes you put your arms up and go, Krishna! That's one aspect of taking shelter. But he's only going to actually come to you and give you that shelter if we cry out helplessly. But also, if we're truly aspiring to make him happy, to please him, by being the servant of the servant of the servant of his servants. And not letting the material environment disturb our relationships. Like Devayani and Sarmishta. In one sense, they were like god sisters, because Devayani's father was her guru, and Sharmishta's father had the same guru, so obviously she did. They were something like god sisters, or from the male perspective, god brothers. And certain environmental situations happened, and because of selfishness, because of ego, they let it create so much havoc between them. And look at the havoc it created to so many people's lives. So yes, there will be millions of reasons for us to disagree, millions of reasons to fight, millions of reasons for us to start hating each other and get disturbed with each other. Millions of reasons to just go our own ways. Maya will provide, birth after birth after birth. She'll never stop providing environmental, personal relationship reasons. So we can't depend on the circumstances for our Krishna consciousness. Our relationships have to be built on the foundation of Gopi Bhartur Padakamaliyora Das Das Anudas, without selfishness. And there's nothing that pleases Krishna more than that. When we keep his will in the center of our lives and our decisions, then whatever may happen, Krishna will be there when we cry out his holy names.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
When Srila Prabhupada said, you can show your love for me how you cooperate, he was telling us the secret of how to please Krishna and how to perfect our spiritual lives.